Hi there, my name is Tavish and I want to talk to you about my favorite thing in the whole world called the space race. Also, want to talk about something I would call the new space race. Come with me on a journey. It is 1950s America and there are two superpowers that have emerged from the Second World War, the United States and the Soviet Union. The date is October 4th, 1957 at 7:28 p.m. A thundering roar is heard from Baikonur Cosmodrome, forever changing the face of humanity in the most exciting, dangerous, and rewarding endeavors humanity has ever embarked on. Meet Sputnik, humankind's first artificial satellite. This is just a radio inside of a sphere, but when the USSR launched this satellite, it created widespread fear. This meant one thing: humans had the ability to deliver a nuclear warhead anywhere in the world at a moment's notice. This was the start of the space race. This was a total embarrassment to the United States at the time. The citizens of the U.S. demanded an answer to the Soviets. This forced the then President Eisenhower to create NASA. The United States struggled to keep pace with the Soviets. The U.S. suffered many blows before pulling ahead. But we had a secret up our sleeves. Werner von Braun. Von Braun was a former Nazi. He is known for the creation of the V-2, a deadly rocket used against Britain during World War II, the world's very first liquid fuel rocket. This man was a genius. His team was facing defeat, and he convinced them that they all had to go work for the West because it was going to be a better life than working for the Soviets. They surrendered to the Allies, and Operation Paperclip brought their talents to the United States. Von Braun designed the mighty Saturn V, which brought us to the moon, and we were able to land 6 times. Many things happened between Sputnik and us landing on the moon for the first time, which was considered to be the end of the space race. It wasn't the only major leaps for mankind that happened. Because we went and landed on the moon, technology was put into overdrive, and we have been reaping the rewards of this technology ever since then. All of mankind benefited from these missions to the moon. We have satellites nowadays, global positioning satellites that help us navigate everywhere in the world. This brings me to my second point of this talk, the new space race. Many current world superpowers are trying to develop technology for permanent habitation on the moon and beyond. Is it ethical to mine the moon and other celestial bodies? Whether we like it or not, this is going to be a necessary feat we are going to have to overcome. The countries that do this first are going to reap the most benefits. I argue that we need to lobby our government to push as hard as possible, if not harder than we did when we went to the moon the first time. Back on September 12, 1962, JFK gave his passionate and famous moon speech. We choose to go to the moon. This was exactly what the nation needed at that time. The U.S. had faced many embarrassing defeats against the Soviets at the time of the speech. However, he dedicated appropriate funding to NASA and instilled the drive into the citizens, promising that space would be a frontier of peace, science, exploration, understanding, instead of the scary, hostile frontier used for war and destruction posed by the Soviets. The potential extermination of our species was at hand. We need this kind of dedication pushing forward. So, you are probably wondering what's going to happen if we aren't the first. It is unlikely hostile nations are going to be willing to readily share the proprietary information, benefits, and technology with the rest of the free world. Scientists and people who develop this technology first will be at a major advantage because the effort spent to developing the technology will have benefits outside of just spaceflight. Other nations are going to make this push whether we do or not. Space is full of precious materials. Astronomers have even discovered an asteroid made entirely out of gold. Proprietary technology has a trickle-down effect. We don't want to get it last. It will be fantastic once we get to Mars. Just imagine. What will we decide to do? The future is up to us.